determined to go out there and reach his absolute best. And he comes in every day to work to try to achieve that. So I couldn't be more happy with how he's progressing to this point.
Okay, Barry, unmute yourself.
Hey, Wave.
Hey, Bear, how are you, man?
Good. The progress of Jonathan Grenard, and does he remind you of anybody?
Oh, man. John Grenard, he's a physical ball player. And you see that particularly when he's setting the edge in the run game. As far as comparisons, that's tough. That's tough. I'd like to say he's a little bit like Brennan Scarlett to this point. But you can see the sky's the limit for that kid. He's very smart. You can teach him all the fundamental underneath coverage drops, particularly zone drops. Like I said, he can set the edge. He's only going to develop and continue to get better as a pass rusher. But he's another guy just like Ross who just continues to go out there and attack the practice field every day. And as long as he continues to do that, he's gonna be as good as he could possibly be.
Greg?
Oh, you cut Barry off, man. Barry tried to get the follow-up. You're back, Barry.
What has Hargraves showed you that made him the #1 choice a few years ago?
I mean, you see his athleticism. You see his athleticism, his ability to cover in the slot, which is not an easy job. You know, a lot of those guys when they're line on slots got a two-way go. And those outside corners, they can use the sideline. You know, Vernon doesn't get that. So he's quick as a cat, and he's able to handle those slots. And I think that's probably where he's best suited to play. And that's where he's going to shine, and we're going to be best be able to utilize his skill set.
Greg?
Hey, Anthony, how would you describe the intensity of the work that you do team on goal line today? And what did you like about what your defense did? Because, man, their enthusiasm was rocking that practice field.
Yeah, we were fortunate to go out there and get some stops against what I think is a very formidable opponent, obviously, in our offense. They have a bunch of skilled players, a bunch of talented guys, and we made some good stops today. But they did get in the end zone a few times. But all I'm looking for is guys that as soon as they cross those white lines, that something flips them. You know, you need to go out there and be like 11 wild dogs once they snap that ball. And I think today we saw a little bit of that out of our defense.
Brandon?
Hey, Anthony, I wanted to ask you about A.J. Moore and Eric Murray. What stands out about those two players respectively?
Oh, I mean, I love both those guys. You talk about guys who are completely selfless, team-oriented guys who are willing to go out there and do whatever it's going to take to win. A.J. Moore is dominant on special teams. And when I talk about defense, I always talk about defense and special teams. I love our offensive guys, but if you got offensive guys on special teams, they're not made to go tackle the ball and hunt. You know, that's our job. So what A.J. Moore does on special teams to me is a reflection of who we are on defense, and I love him for that. Eric Murray has been excellent back there with Justin Reed. He is an incredible communicator. He's been in a number of schemes, and he's very smart, so he can handle as much information as you give him. And I'm thrilled that he's here with us.
Sarah?
Hey, Anthony. When we talked to J.J. Watt, he said that he felt like he's taken a step forward in teaching other guys, especially the younger guys, maybe how to do something in practice. How have you seen that improve, and how does that help you?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. Who would not want advice from a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 20-sack guy? I mean, JJ's done it all. So any wisdom he can impart on those young guys is going to be huge for us defensively. And, I think that just comes with growth and maturation. As you age, I hit 40 a few weeks ago. And as you age, all you want to do is be able to give back and really pay it forward to a game that we all love so much. And I think that's what JJ's doing.
How does JJ react when he hears some of these young guys say, "Oh, I watched you when I was growing up"? He's not old, but I'm sure some of these guys now watched him when he was in college and even in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't think I think you can't help but laugh at it. But I also know just the competitive side of JJ. He wants to go out there and show those young bucks too that he's not an old dog quite yet, and he can still get a lot of work done.
Berman?
Hey, Anthony, how are you?
Mark, I'm great, man. Nice match.
Right, thank you. So we asked Bill the other day about P.J. Hall. He said, well, we're taking a chance on him. What do you see from this guy who was a second-round pick a couple of years ago, and y'all are going to give him a look-see?
Yeah, PJ Hall is a guy that has all the physical attributes to go out there and be successful in this league. That's why he was drafted so high. So for us to have the opportunity to get him on waivers and get the opportunity to work for him, I think we're excited about that. Now, he has work to do. And he's certainly been challenged, and we expect him to do that. But, it's all in front of him. It's all in front of him if he's willing to go out there and do all the things necessary to put himself on the football field. But we love what we see out of him. He's twitchy. He can go out there. He can play the nose. He can play the 3 technique, provide some interior pass rush. We just got to make sure he's in shape to do that.
Aaron.
Yes. Anthony, now that Dylan Cole is back, what's it like to have him as that sub linebacker, have him as part of the defense, and to have that presence in terms of pass coverage, things he can do? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, Dylan's a ball player. He's a guy that can do multiple jobs for you. He's a special teams core player. And for us, he's an energy giver. He's a guy that loves practicing. Those are the guys you want to be around. He uplifts the people around him. And we're thrilled to just have him back out there on the practice field with us and providing that juice.
Brian Bearfield.
Coach, yesterday it was getting Coach O'Brien's juices going, talking a little trash. Today I seen on video him out there, doing the Q step. What is it like to have a guy like Keon Crossen and his energy on your defense?
I mean, Keon is just that. He is a ball of energy, man. He comes to practice every day, and like I said, he's a lot like Dylan Cole. He's an energy giver, and those are the guys. Like I said, those are the guys you want on your defense. They're infectious. They make people step up their game, and the more of those guys you can get around, usually the better you are defensively. So Keon continues to grow with us defensively as a ball player. He's doing multiple jobs right now. We play him in slot. We're playing him on the outside, and just like Dylan. Just like AJ Moore, he's a core special teamer, and I can't preach the importance of that enough to all of our guys on defense.
Aaron Reese.
Hey, Anthony. Jacob Martin obviously came to the team just before week 1 last year. How much more can he do for the defense this year, just having had more time in the system and all that?
Jacob is a guy that can pose problems for offense because he can do a lot of things. He obviously can rush off the edge. He can rush on the interior. You saw him get a sack in the playoff game against Buffalo last year when he ran that game with Whitney. You can drop him into coverage. So finding him and IDing him is going to be an issue for offense. And that multiplicity as a coordinator, I mean, you love guys like that because you can get creative and you can do some things. But the more he can handle from a football FBI standpoint, and the more we're able to do with him, just makes us that more complex defensively. So we're thrilled to have him.
Brandon.
Anthony, just as far as those situational drills that you guys were doing yesterday, I know how that obviously benefits the offense, but could you talk about what that did for your defense as far as being put in those situations, those high leverage situations like that?
Yeah, we love it. We love it because that's the game, right? That's the game. It's first and second down, and in the middle of the first quarter, every down is important. I'm not saying that, but we know most of these games are won and lost at the end of half and at the end of the game, 2-minute situations. So Coach O'Brien's putting us in some difficult situations. I think it's important for our defense to understand the situation, respond, and win because that's the end goal. So regardless of the situation we're put in, our guys have stepped up to the task at this point. We've lost them, certainly, but we won a lot too. And I think as long as they know those situations, we'll be more prepared once we go into Kansas City.
Okay, we'll take 2 more. Cody Davis and then Barry Warner.
Hey, Anthony, can you talk about the growth you have seen from Lonnie Johnson Jr. as he prepares for his second season?
Yeah, I mean, Lonnie, he came in here, he's 6'1", 220 pounds. He looks like a will linebacker, but he still moves like a corner. So that alone has showed me that he is motivated. He's motivated to come and improve why he was a second-round pick. And to this point, he's done nothing but show us that on the football field. So it's awesome just to see that growth and maturation in him. And I can't wait to see all the things he's going to do this year for us.
Okay, last one for Barry.
Weave, what do you try to do to improve the footwork of BMAC when it comes to pass coverage?
I put a lot of trust in his coach, Bobby King. Bobby's done a tremendous job with him to this point. And BMAC, for the most part, doesn't have necessarily bad footwork. There's times like all linebackers where we get pushed up a little bit on play action because we're trying to stop the run. And first and foremost, I think as defense, that's what you want to do when you're measuring the toughness of a football team, particularly on defense. The first thing you got to be able to do is stop the run. Otherwise, the offensive side of the ball is imposing their will upon you. But BMAC, just like all of our guys, they got get better mentalities. The last thing you want to be in this league is complacent. And I speak about that from experience. You know, I came here in 2006 as a player, thought I had all the answers, and didn't have the career here that I wanted in those 3 years. So I always caution players to avoid complacency and to always try to get better day in and day out.
Thanks, everyone. Tim will be in a couple minutes.
Okay.